All right, folks. Thanks for checking out the video. I want to talk today about how the modern Democrat Party is officially the party of wealthy, woke, white people. Now, I've been saying this for a long time. I came across this pretty good article here from a Substack called The Liberal Patriot, and this article is by a guy named Nate Moore. Now, the article goes on to say here, though separated by just a few miles, Los Alamos and Rio Arriba counties, both nestled northwest of Santa Fe, are worlds apart politically. Los Alamos, home to the eponymous laboratory, is more than two-thirds white and the wealthiest county in New Mexico. A whopping 68% of residents have a bachelor's degree and 43% have a postgraduate degree. The median household income approaches $150,000. In short, chock full of elites. In contrast, Rio Arriba is two-thirds Hispanic with a median household income of $53,000. Just 17% have a college degree, less than half the national average. And in November, Rio Arriba shifted 14 points to the right as Trump turned in the best GOP performance there since 1972. Los Alamos, meanwhile, shifted 4 points to the left, no small feat considering the breadth of Trump's win, and delivered Harris a 30-point win. It was the best Democratic performance in Los Alamos since 1964 and the first time ever that Los Alamos voted to the left of Rio Arriba. The political winds that propelled Los Alamos and Rio Arriba in opposite directions swept not just across the land of enchantment, but the entire country, a shift that highlights one of the most startling results of the 2024 election. For the first time since exit polls began tracking household income, Democrats did better with voters making more than $100,000 than with voters making less than $50,000. Trump, meanwhile, became the first Republican since George H.W. Bush to win voters making less than $50,000. His 2-point win with this group, just about matching his popular vote margin, marks an 11-point swing from Biden's 54% to 45% win 4 years ago. On the other hand, those making $100,000 or more, 30% of the electorate, voted for Biden by 5 points and Harris by 6. A 1-point shift to the left seems small, but in the context of a broad national shift to the right, any demographic group that moved towards Democrats is notable. Men shifted right, women shifted right, young voters shifted right, white, black, and Hispanic voters shifted right, but the richest voters shifted left. Now, the article goes on here and gives some more examples, but you get the gist of it here. And this is something I've been saying for a long time now. I mean, the evidence is there politically, but also in, day-to-day life. You think about where you live, right? I mean, most of the people who were buying into the whole, democracy is under threat. I mean, these are more likely to be, so-called educated, woke white people, more so than it is to be, working class people, particularly working class white people or working class people of any background, to be sure. So, they've always called, for as long as I've been alive, they've always said, oh, well, Democrats are for the working class, they're for the poor, Republicans are for the rich. Well, that really doesn't turn out to be the case. And even more so since in about the last 10 years since Donald Trump has been on the scene, we've sort of seen the parties in that regard flip, especially reputationally, because we are seeing a record number of, so-called middle and working class people voting Republican, people that in the past have voted Democrat, and a lot of people who maybe in the past voted Republican are now voting Democrat. So, we hear a lot about the so-called flip in the parties back in the civil rights era, which really wasn't even true, but actually is true now in terms of the priorities of the parties. A lot of these rich white people, they look at Donald Trump's talk about inflation. Well, they make enough money to where they're not really affected by inflation. Okay, they're getting $7,500 tax credits for their luxury electric vehicles. They get cheap labor for their gardeners and nannies and so forth. So they hear these calls for crackdowns on particularly illegal immigration as an assault on them. That would actually hit their pocketbooks if, God forbid, they had to pay an American citizen to watch their kids or mow their grass, and so forth. So again, I'll post a link to the article here. I definitely recommend reading it, and it just gives you something to think about. Something to think about when you look at who's moving left, who's moving right. So in any case, that's what I think. Let me know what you all think. And as always, we'll see you on the next one.